What's up guys, it's Markin, and in today's video, we have the hero updates for Paragon's V40 patch. Now as you know, V40 is a huge patch. Paragon is changing so much with their games. In the previous video, we went over the general gameplay changes that happened. You can check that video out in the description below. For this video, we are concentrating on the hero updates, so let's get right into them. Alright, hero updates. We are just going to go in order of the patch notes. We're going to break it down and see what this is actually changing in the game. Now first off, we have FaZe. FaZe was added to the game. She is going to be the new support hero. We are not going to dive into her in this video. You can check out the video in the description. We've already done a breakdown of FaZe. So if you want more information on her, go ahead and check out that video. But we'll move on and we'll check out Aurora. Now, this is not a huge change whatsoever. Her Cryosism corrected an issue which would cause Cryosism to deal an unintended additional damage. Now, I didn't even know that this bug existed. I don't know if a lot of people were encountering this. However, they have fixed it for those of you that were really bothered with Aurora's bug. Now next up, huge change. Feng Miao. His Reaping Dash. They have increased his damage bonus to 35, 70, 105, and 140%. From 10, 25, 40, and 55%. So if you don't know, Feng Miao's kit, after his Reaping Dash, his first attack does a bonus damage. At level 4, his bonus damage used to be 55% extra damage. It is now 140% extra damage. This is going to be a huge buff for Feng Miao. Huge buff. Now, the only nerf they did to this ability is that it can no longer crit. 99% of people out there did not build crit Feng Miao, especially if you were running him off lane, built him more tanky and straight power. So this bonus damage increase is really going to help him out in off lane. He was already a top pick off lane. This might shoot him up to the very top tier of off lane. The damage that he's going to be able to output after Reaping Dash is going to be crazy. So we'll have to wait and see how this comes into effect on Tuesday. Next up, we have Gadget. Small buff, but it is definitely well needed. Gadget Speed Gate, the movement speed increase is up to 200 instead of 125, and it now decays over the effect duration. It seems like one of the themes that they're going with this patch is they are making all these movement speed buffs, attack speed buffs, have one real big burst and then kind of fade off over time, and that is what they changed on her Speed Gate. So you now get a 200 movement speed increase, and it decays over its duration, so it gets slower and slower until your move speed increase is 0. Next up, we are on Greystone. Now this is a very big change for all you Greystone mains out there. First off, they've added a tier 3 skin to the in-game store. This is not what this video is about. This is about the buffs and nerfs to the heroes, so we're not going to go over that. His Stoic ability has now been renamed to Deflect, and it has been completely reworked. Stoic ability used to give him bonus health and basic armor passively. So as you upgraded the skill, you passively gained health and basic armor to help you deal with basic attack heroes. His new ability, Deflect, every 9, 7, 5, and 3 seconds, based on how much you upgrade the ability, Greystone will block 100% of the damage from the next basic damage instant that hits him. So if you are in a team fight, everybody's focusing you with auto attacks. Say you're going up against a Twin Blast and a Revenant, and they are scorching you with auto attacks. Every 3 seconds at level 4, you will block every bit of the damage from that auto attack. All basic damage instances will be blocked every 3 seconds with Greystone. This is going to give him so much survivability in team fights, in the laning phase, anything like that. Greystone has definitely received a buff after this. He's going to be more tankier. The bonus health and basic armor that you received from Stoic in the past was decent, but it was not game breaking, but it was not so huge that you're going to be lost without it. Blocking 100% of the damage from the next basic damage instance is going to be huge. Late game, you have carries that crit for 600, even more when you have OP. He is now blocking all of that damage every 3 seconds. So Greystone definitely received a buff. It's going to be huge, and we're going to have to wait and see how bad this could get abused, and if Greystone is going to shoot to the top again. Next up, Rejoice Iggy and Scorch mains. Is he Legacy Iggy and Scorch? No. However, his flame turret, you can no longer just shoot 5 times and it's gone. The turrets now have up to 650 health instead of pips. So early game, when your auto attacks are doing 50, 60 damage an auto attack, you're now going to have to hit these turrets over and over and over again in order for them to die. And they also take 60% reduced ability damage. So no longer can you throw down a gadget right mouse or a Gideon Q and just destroy these turrets. You have to damage them for all of this health instead of just the regular pips. Now, is this going to make Iggy viable again? I don't know. Perhaps not, but it's definitely going to help his kit, especially with some of the card changes we have coming up. Next up, we have LT, Lieutenant Bellica, one of my favorite heroes. Her Void Drone got a little buff and a little nerf, depending on how you look at it. The damage has been reduced on her Void Drone. So if you are in the Void Drone's area, every time you use an ability, you get damaged. So that damage itself has been decreased. Also, the scaling has been decreased on it. So overall, that's a nerf. However, it now has health instead of pips, just like the Iggy turrets. So at level 4, this has 725 health. So no longer can you just have a support attack it to get rid of it. If you're a carry, you're going to have to stop attacking heroes mid-fight and focus this Void Drone, because if you do not focus it, it's going to destroy your mana and it's going to damage you over and over and over again. So now you have carries that can no longer attack enemy heroes, but now have to attack the Void Drone because of the increase in health. And just like Iggy turrets, it takes 60% reduced ability damage. So you can't just drop a gadget right mouse button or a Gideon Q or anything like that on it. You can no longer just apply the bleed from Grux to take this out in one hit. It now has 725 health. So this is going to be huge for team fights. And like I said, this may be a little bit of a nerf on damage, but the survivability of it is so high, it may in the long run end up doing more damage. So I would say overall, this is going to be a buff for Bellica. She might be even better for team fights now. All right, next up, we have everybody's favorite hero, KALLARI. She got a very big rework this patch. Nothing amazingly crazy, but there's some stuff that's pretty crazy in here. Her dagger has been moved from E to right mouse button, and now is a quick cast ability. So those of you that play with Richter, his hook functions the exact same way. You hold the right mouse button, line up your shot, and let it go to actually fire it out. Also, the damage on this has been increased top level from 120 damage to 195 damage. So all across the board at all levels, her dagger does more damage, and it still slows. It's going to be a very important ability to hit on her, and now it deals even more damage. Next up, they took out her backflip. Now, it's not just gone, they've replaced it with a new ability called Shadow Dance, and this is a passive ability, not an active like her dagger. Now this passively provides bonus health regen while KALLARI is in the shadow plane. So every time KALLARI goes into the shadow plane, into stealth, she gets health regen. This is really going to help with her survivability in team fights, in picks, in 1v1s. Anytime she opens up, she can just regen her health back up and then go back in and get that bonus damage. Now another passive part of this ability is it allows KALLARI to jump up to 2 additional times after jumping, just like backflip the ability did. However, this does not cost mana at all, and you just use spacebar. So just like with any hero, you just hit spacebar to jump, except KALLARI now has a triple jump. Now the cooldown of this is reduced to 8 seconds late game. Not a huge buff on it, but it not needing mana and you just being able to jump with spacebar, it's just kind of a quality of life change, and I think it's really going to help out her kit. Her Shadow Walk ability brings her into the shadow plane. Now automatically activates when she drops below 35% health. So if you are a KALLARI and you are getting hit constantly, as soon as you get to that 35% health, you immediately go into the shadow plane. Automatically, you don't have to hit anything. And remember, now with that change to Shadow Dance, once you're in the shadow plane, you're going to have that bonus health regen. So KALLARI is going to be a hero that you really need to burst down immediately and lock her down and finish her up, because you're not going to be able to find her once she gets under 35%, and she's going to get out of there no problem. Time to invest in some wards, guys. Always buy your wards. Now, this effect can only be triggered once every 60 seconds, and it can only be triggered if the damage that puts her below 35% health is from a hero. So if you are jungle Kallari, you're in the jungle and you're below critical health and you're farming minions, if they hit you, you're not going to go into the shadow plane and they're not going to reset. So you'll still be able to jungle as you do now with her. It only brings you into stealth if the damage comes from the enemy heroes. Now, lastly but not leastly on Kallari, you have her death sentence, her ultimate. She channels her ultimate and can fly to any enemy on the map and deal damage to them. However, they have added a 250 slow while Kallari is channeling death sentence. Now, this is going to help a huge amount. If you guys have ever played Kallari, when you ult on somebody, you kind of get turned around. You don't know where you're facing, and by that point, the enemy can use their abilities, get away, and you don't know where they went. Now there's a 250 slow. It's really going to help her line up an additional E, an additional auto attack, anything like that that'll really help her secure kills. So big Kallari rework, all for the better, buffs around the board. She's really going to be a powerful offlaner now, and that's really what Epic is trying to push her as, is a split pushing offlaner. So we'll see how that goes once the patch releases. All right, next up we have Morgesh. Small nerf to Morgesh. They nerfed her ability armor and her ability armor per level a small amount. I feel like she's in a pretty good place right now. I don't know if this change was needed. All it did was make her a little bit less tanky, but not a huge change whatsoever. I don't think you're going to see an impact on her play. Next up, we have Muriel. General, as a reminder, all shields are now treated as extra health and benefit from targets' resistances such as armor. So, as we spoke about in our prior video and the general gameplay changes, the shields are now different. They are treated as extra health and not just a number shield. So if you want more information on that, go ahead and check on our previous video that's in the description. They also changed Muriel's alacrity. The move speed increase went from 35, 50, 65, 80 move speed to 150, 175, 200, and 225. That is a huge buff to this move speed on her alacrity. Now, just like Gadget's E, the move speed now decays over its 2 seconds. So you're going to get a huge burst of speed, and then it's going to slowly decay over its 2 seconds until it is gone. Now, is this going to make Muriel a much higher tier support than she is currently? I don't know. Her shields are going to be stronger, and her move speed is going to be a lot faster, but we'll have to wait and see if this actually brings her up to the top tier. Now, next up, we have MURDOCK. This is another huge rework for heroes, and one a lot of people have been talking about. I think for MURDOCK as a hero, this kit is just absolutely perfect for him. They took away a lot of abilities and added passive abilities in their places. So, Move Along has been removed. Static Trap has been removed. Buckshot has been reworked. As you know, Buckshot was his shotgun blast. It was on Q, now it's on right mouse button or R1. So it functions the same manner. It's a shotgun blast, it's a little bit wider, it has more spread, covers more enemies. However, enemies damaged by Buckshot are pushed if they are within 700 units of MURDOCK. So this will take place of his Move Along. So if anybody jumps on top of you, you're trying to get your escape, you can use your Buckshot, push them off of you for a little bit extra survivability. However, if you use your Buckshot and your opponent is farther than 700 units away, it is not going to push them away. So if you have a Chimera that's coming up to you, you can't push him real far away so that you're out of his jump range. You have to wait until he's right on you, then push him away. And the damage range remains 1,000 units. So the range that the damage hits hasn't changed whatsoever. They've just added that pushback if they're within 700 units. Now next up, his new passive ability, Hot Pursuit. Grants an additional 100, 150, 200, and 250 movement speed when running at visible, critically wounded enemies within 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 units. And what this means in basic terms is if you almost kill somebody, somebody's almost dead, you have a huge movement speed boost as long as you're running towards them. This is going to be awesome for MURDOCK. So awesome. He's really focuses on auto attacks. He's a heavy hitter. He's got the shotgun blast, and this is going to help him make sure that nobody escapes him, and he's going to be able to hunt down all those people that he almost kills. He's now going to be able to get the speed boost to hunt them down. Next up, we have another new ability, Shots Fired. It is another passive, and it is just as good as his first. This grants Murdock's next basic attack bonus range, and 15, 30, 45, 60 basic pen every 10, 8, 6, 4 seconds. Once this ability is level 4, every 4 seconds, Murdock's basic attack gets a bonus range. Now again, they don't have numbers in these notes of how long this bonus range is. Is it 10 units? Is it 200 units? Is it 500 units? We don't know how long this actual bonus range is. So to go along with his hot pursuit, he's going to be moving faster, and his auto attacks are going to be able to reach farther. It's going to be very, very hard to run away from Murdock, and he's going to be able to catch you no matter what. And you know what? If he can't catch you, he still has his ultimate to secure the kill from anywhere on the map. Now to go along with that, the basic pen on here, any armor that you're building, you have 60 basic pen at level 4 of this ability is going to be huge. So these shots are going to basically cut through armor and have bonus range. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun to play Murdock. Now, nobody's going to be safe against Murdock, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see this. All right, next up we have Narbash. The only change on Narbash is his march. It's his move speed increase. He has a big AoE around him. Everybody around him, including minions, gets a move speed increase. They have taken the move speed from 65, 90, 115, and 140 at 4 levels to 125, 150, 175, and 200. So again, the movement speed decays over its duration, so you're going to get a huge boost of speed right away, and then it's going to decay. They did, however, reduce the duration of it from 3 seconds to 2.5 seconds. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out with Narbash's kit. I don't know if this is going to be a little bit better or a little bit worse than March currently is, but we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we have Richter. The only change to Richter is his shock therapy. This is his Q. It's usually maxed first when you play Richter. However, they reduced the cooldown to 12 seconds at all levels. So level 1 used to be 21 seconds. The cooldown now is 12 seconds. All early games. So basically this is going to help Richter early game. It's going to give him an early game buff. It's not going to change a ton, but that laning phase he's definitely going to be a little bit better in. So we'll see how that works out. Next up we have Shinbi. Shinbi got a big buff. I don't think a lot of people realize this, but this buff is going to be very, very big. Let's start with her all kill, her ultimate. She can now move while casting her ultimate. It used to be one of Shinbi's main weaknesses, is whenever she would cast her ult, she would stand still for 2 seconds, she'd get caught out and immediately blown up and killed. Now, she can move while she's casting it. This is going to be huge for her survivability. Also, the stacks on the wolf, their durations have been increased to 10 seconds from 7 seconds. So as you stack your wolves on your enemy from your abilities, they are now lasting for 10 seconds. That's going to allow her ult to do even more damage than it currently does. Another huge change, her rushing beat. She will no longer lose the ability to recast rushing beat after being stunned or silenced. So rushing beat, she has 2 dashes. She dashes once, and then it gives you the option to dash twice. In the current patch, you dash once and you get a thunk, you get knocked up, stunned, silenced, anything like that. You cannot recast your ability. Now, you can recast it. So even after you get stunned, silenced, you can then recast your ability again. So she's going to be very slippery. It's going to be very easy for her to get out of situations. Getting in, doing her damage, getting out, and then ulting people is going to be a lot easier. So see how Shinbi works after this one. And the final change on her, Line Temple, her Q, the projectile speed is increased. Right now you throw out wolves, they're pretty slow. Now, they've increased their speed. How much did they increase it? I don't know. They did not give you numbers, but it's nothing but good for Shinbi. Shinbi used to be pretty good, not super great. Now I think she's going to be huge. I think you're going to start seeing her in offlane a lot more now. I think she's going to be very, very strong offlane with her kit. Next up, we have Steel. Huge changes to Steel as well. Huge. There are so many changes this patch. It's unbelievable. Steel's force shield, his E, has been removed. Wah, wah. It's not what you think. It hasn't been removed. It's just kind of been moved. His bulwark ability now has been reworked. He deploys a smaller attached force shield as an extension of his shield while channeling bulwark. So as you guys know, Steel's bulwark ability, he holds up a shield that takes less damage from auto attacks. Now, the force shield is actually going to be this shield, but even bigger. So it's going to stop all enemy auto attacks from coming in, but your allies can still shoot out, and it moves with steel. So you don't throw it on the ground and get out of there. It moves with him. Wherever you turn, it turns. Wherever you move, it moves too. It's going to be a great ability for him. And they've also increased the duration at level 4 to 7 seconds. So once you rank up this ability to level 4, you're going to have a 7-second force shield that you just carry around with you to help out your team. I think it's going to be a huge change, and it's going to help steel a lot. Now next up, we talked about his force shield being removed. He now has a new ability for his E, Ablative Armor. This grants steel 4 stacks of ability armor for a total of 200, 260, 320, and 380 ability armor through all 4 levels. So he passively gains ability armor with this ability. You used to be able to burst down steel pretty easily with an ability champion. He was very, very tanky for those basic attack heroes, those ADCs, those carries, but if you were an ability champion, you could kind of burst him down. This ablative armor is going to be huge. It's going to make him so much more tanky than he currently is. Now, taking ability damage removes 1 stack. And as you see, he gains 1 stack every 6, 5, 4, 3 seconds, depending on your 4 levels of the ability. So once you're at level 4 of your E ability, every 3 seconds, he gains a stack of ability armor. Now, this is going to max out at 380 ability armor. It's going to be so great for steel. The survivability is going to be great. And I really think this is going to make offlane steel a big thing. I think he's going to make a comeback. Steel's always been one of my favorite champions. He's been so powerful for so long, and he's kind of fallen off a little bit in the past couple months. I think this is going to bring him right up to the top. If you're looking for a tank, Steel is your guy. I can't wait to see him. Now next up we have the Fae. The Fae is finally getting an update, a buff. She's finally getting a buff. Harvest Nettles. Consecutive hits on the same target within 9 seconds deal an additional 15% damage per hit, stacking up to a maximum of 60% bonus damage per hit. This is a huge buff for Fae. This is going to bring her up and up and up in the tier list, and she's definitely going to get some more play than she's currently getting, and I can't wait to see it. Now lastly, on the hero changes, we have Yin. Nothing big here. Yin got a nerf. Her lash kick range has been reduced to 750 units from 950 units. So her Q range has gone down, her escapability and her chase potential has gone down, plus her wind burn got a mana cost increase. It is up to 40 from 20, and the cooldown is up to 21, 18, 15, 12 from 20, 15, 12, and 8. Not huge changes on Yin, but it's definitely going to set her back a little bit. And the escapability and chase potential on her is definitely going down. So guys, that is it for the hero changes on V40 for Paragon. There are so many. There are so many, and I'm sorry for how long this video is. I'm sorry, but it takes this long to describe everything and go over everything. So I can't wait for these changes to come into effect. So let me know in the comments what you think of all these hero changes. What's your favorite hero change? What's your least favorite hero change? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, guys, and stay active.